It's about T plus 10 minutes and 45 seconds. The good news right now is all systems are nominal. No issues to report right now. When you look at the propellant loading we've been doing on the first and second stage, we are currently full on RP1. RP1 is refined kerosene. That is our fuel for today's mission. We also load on liquid oxygen on the first and second stages. We are continuing to load both stages. First stage is nearly full on liquid oxygen, and our second stage is about 3/4 full on liquid oxygen. We will continue loading liquid oxygen onto the vehicles up until the T-minus 3-minute mark. That's where we will finish topping off liquid oxygen on our first stage. Right now we have just finished loading cryogenic helium stages, and we are about to resume liquid oxygen loading. We are launching today from Kennedy Space Center, which means we are working with the Space Center as well as the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station to support today's mission. Both the range as well as the Space Center have given us a green light for today's mission. They have cleared the nearby area around the pad as well as the launch corridor, and they are tracking no issues. You can see it is beautiful, clear skies at Kennedy Space Center. Weather will not be a constraint for today's mission. Weather is go for today's launch. Now, at the forward end of the stage, you just saw an image of our composite fairing. Inside that fairing is where BulgariaSat is housed. This fairing is what we use to protect the satellite from the aerodynamic forces of ascent. And once we leave most of Earth's atmosphere, that fairing will separate along a seam in the middle, and that fairing will fall back to Earth. Fairing separation will occur shortly after stage separation. Our mission today is taking BulgariaSat-1 to a geostationary transfer orbit. After that satellite will separate from second stage, it will use its own onboard thrusters to perform orbital adjustments over a few weeks, and that will place BulgariaSat-1 into a geostationary orbit at the Bulgarian orbital position. Geostationary orbit is about 35,786 kilometers away from Earth. It is sized such that the orbit period matches the Earth's rotation. That's what you're seeing on your screen right now. Essentially, the satellite is going to appear as a fixed star in the sky from a specific region of Earth, and that satellite will provide constant coverage over that region. BulgariaSat-1 was manufactured by Space Systems Doral out of Palo Alto, California. We have a quick video today to show you exactly what it took to get the satellite ready for today's launch and onto the pad for today's mission. Now, today's launch is Bulgaria's first geostationary communications satellite, and it will provide direct-to-home television service as well as data communication services in the Balkans as well as other parts of Europe and Africa. For BulgariaSat, this is a first-of-a-kind investment in terms of financial and strategic importance. Building a satellite and launching it is an incredible effort. Today's mission was made possible by the tremendous collaborative effort of the BulgariaSat team, along with its customers and international partners. The good news right now, as we are about T-minus 5 minutes into the count, is that BulgariaSat is go for today's launch. BulgariaSat transition to internal power began the process at about T-minus 35 minutes. It is fully on internal power right now. Fuel loading continues to proceed nominally. On both stages, we are just topping up liquid oxygen in this final minute of liquid oxygen load. We are coming up on strong back retraction. You can see at the top of your screen, there are some arms that cradle the rocket next to our strong back. That is the structure to the right side. Those arms open up. The strong back moves backwards 1.5 degrees. And then at this point in time, once we reach the T0, the strongback will fall away as the rocket lifts off. We are coming into terminal count, the last major event being at T-minus 1 minute, where our ground systems will hand over control of the rocket to the onboard flight computer. At that point in time, our onboard flight computer will govern the entire countdown sequence, performing the final checks across Falcon 9. As well as our final ground system checks as we throttle up to make sure we are ready for liftoff. And so we are going to go silent on our end here at the webcast unless you listen in to the final few minutes of terminal counts as we await liftoff of BulgariaSat 1 from Kennedy Space Center at Pad 39A in Florida.
Stage 2 locks closed out. Falcon 9's on internal power. Vehicles in self-align. Stage 1, Stage 2 crash helium secured.
FTS on countdown 1, announce AFTS is ready for launch.
AFTS is ready for launch.
PC verify Falcon 9 is in startup.
Falcon 9's in startup. Stage 1, Stage 2, pressing for flight.
LD verify go for launch.
LD go for launch.
30 seconds and counting. 20.
Falcon 9 is configured for flight.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
RC copies. GC copies.
Falcon 9 is on its way to delivering Bulgaria Sat-1 to a geostationary transfer orbit. All 9 Merlin engines capable of putting out over 1.7 million pounds of thrust. We are coming up on max Q at 1 minute and 18 seconds roughly. We'll be passing through max Q, that is maximum aerodynamic pressure. We just crossed through it. That is one of the highest stressed states on the rocket. So we're over 20 kilometers above the surface of Earth. You can see the engine plume expand at the base of the rocket.
Stage 1 propulsion still nominal.
That is indicative that we are leaving Earth's atmosphere.
And actual has begun.
You just heard the call out that the Merlin vacuum engine on second stage has begun chilling in. This means that we are getting ready for 3 major events. Main engine cutoff, MECO 1, stage separation, and second engine start. We'll talk about all 3 of them after they occur. What you just saw there in quick succession was MECO, main engine cutoff, followed by stage separation, which was done by 4 pneumatic actuators on the forward end of our first stage. And then on the right side of your screen, you are seeing the glowing red nozzle of our second stage engine. That glowing red nozzle on the second stage is how you can see that we have a good ignition in space. We will have fairing separation in about 15 seconds. Just happened right now. It's like a good separation of the fairing. That was a brief glimpse of Bulgaria Sat within the fairing of our second stage. This means that we have left Earth's atmosphere, majority of Earth's atmosphere. On the left side of your screen, you are seeing an image from the top of our first stage. You see 2 grid fins in the sides of that image. We use those grid fins to guide the stage through the atmosphere to the drone ship. Now, those grid fins do look small, but they are about 5 feet long, about 4 feet wide. So they're rather large as we use them to guide ourselves back. You are also seeing occasional puffs come out from the side of the stage. Those are cold nitrogen thrusters that we use to help orient the stage. Now, coming up in about a minute, we have our entry burn of the first stage. This is a 3-engine entry burn. For today's mission, since we are landing on the drone ship, we do not have a boost back burn. We only have an entry burn and a landing burn. 2 burns total for today's mission for the first stage. As I mentioned previously, our entry coming in for first stage is one of the highest heating and structural loads. So this is a very challenging first stage maneuver to land on our drone ship. Of course, I still love you.
Of course, I still love you has AOS.
You just heard confirmation that our drone ship has acquisition of signal, AOS, of the first stage as it's coming back.
First stage, ATS.
Stage 1 entry burn is started.
This is ignition of the entry burn. This burn will last for about 20 seconds. 3-engine entry burn on the first stage on the left.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
We have a good shutdown, confirmation of a good shutdown of the first stage entry burn. Now, it is normal for us to see some of the soot appear on the camera screen. We may also occasionally lose coverage of the first stage entry as we come in through the horizon. That is all perfectly normal. This is expected to lose the signal from stage 1. We will have signal acquisition as we come closer to the drone ship. Meanwhile, you're seeing on our second stage the engine burning. This burn will last about 8 minutes, 30 seconds. And then we will have a coast phase for the second stage before we do our final burn to put BulgariaSat into a geostationary transfer orbit.
Second stage, ATS, that's saved.
We're coming up in about 30 seconds on our landing burn from the first stage. About 45 more seconds for this stage 2 burn.
Landing burn has started.
The confirmation of the landing burn has started.
Landing legs have deployed.
And it looks like we may have lost some of the footage coming in for the landing ship, coming in for the drone ship. We do expect to lose signal from the drone ship as we come in. If you've watched previous missions, that is not uncommon for us to lose coverage of the first stage coming back to the drone ships. The rocket vibrations coming into something like that can cause some issues. And it looks like we did have a good recovery of the first stage. Video feed did come back. That is touchdown for first stage on the drone ship. This was a 3-engine landing burn. Most challenging landing to date. Successfully touched back down on Of Course I Still Love You. Meanwhile, we have a good orbit for second stage. We are in a good parking orbit for second stage.